And we're live on the Goonerverse, people. It's deadline day. There are 56 minutes to go. Are Arsenal going to pull off a transfer spectacular with 55? They're not. They're not going to.
It seems unlikely.
Yes. Probably not. But we have so much to talk about. Welcome, Alex, from the Different Knock, people. Everyone in the comments. Big round of applause. Just put your clapping emojis in the comments. How are you, Alex? We have been meaning to do this for months, and we will announce to everyone what this is in a sec.
Yes.
But how are you, mate?
It's the start of a new era, baby. I mean, you do some more content together because it's been written in the stars, but we haven't made it happen. So yeah, I'm excited to do some more stuff with you. Do you know when we met on the train randomly? We just like sort of the other day. We just like on the same train. The universe is trying to smash us together. You know what I mean?
It was very, very, very random. Look at all the claps coming in. We love to see it. We love to see it. Wow. Sorry we're late. I was having some issues. We were trying to do some technical stuff. If Max is tuning into this, I know he's going, James, where's everything I tried to set up earlier today? Took me, you were messaging me loads about it, and now it's not there. What is it? Max, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Max.
We'll chat later. It didn't work. We will catch up. It's great to have you here. Should we start with some early announcements? Should we let everyone know about this show, which is coming once a month?
Yes.
Are we allowed to say
not yet?
We will not
yet.
The
other
okay,
one.
fine.
Soon though.
Fine. But you can all gather that Alex and I will be doing some more content, a lot more content. Yes, literally this. More content. Let's go. Pretty much. So basically, I mean, in short, this is an accident. I want everyone to know, live at 6 p.m, the final hour of deadline day was a complete and utter accident. Genuinely. The plan was we are going to do, this is it. This is the first one. We want to do a show at call it the very end or very start of the month, however you want to look at it. Essentially looking back at the football just gone and looking ahead of what's to come. It's a good chance to take stock. It's a good chance to look back at the body of work. I think it's easy to go game by game. People on loose cannons, they say to me, James, calm down. Everything's fine. I'm like, I am pretty calm. This is a post-match podcast. On this, if I were losing my head, maybe that'd be a little bit more unfair. So that's basically what we want to do. We want to sort of look back at the month in general. Because it's fallen on transfer deadline day, I think it only makes sense to talk about some of the stuff. We've got some clarity from David Ornstein around Tonali. We'll talk about this James Wilson link. Arteta being quite upfront about the transfer situation, actually. Yep. I mean, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen, but it's interesting that he spoke the way he did. So we're gonna cover all that. But where do you want to? Should we start with Tonali, Alex? Should we?
Let's start with Tonali. That was the thing I woke up to this morning, and I was like, "Is this going to be a tasty deadline day?" It's turned out not to be. I mean, the first, unfortunately, the first thing I thought about was Paul Scholes, which is the worst thing to think about first thing in the morning. But yeah, I mean, that would have been hilarious. But look, I mean, I always think when these links appear, and I saw a lot of people in group chats and stuff that I'm in going, it's complete rubbish. I'm like, I think when something this random drops, I'm always like, okay, let me just wait and let me just see. And obviously, David Ornstein has kind of said that the agent offered him, which I do believe, but then also Fabrizio Romano, I think, has come out and said that Tonali, that the agents denied it, but I think that's probably to save face more than anything. Yeah, look, I obviously love the player. I think he's an extraordinary player. I think there's space for him at Arsenal in a sort of post Marino Norgard era. I don't know how I've been sort of going back and forth in my mind all day about the 6-8 signing and about whether we need it. And I guess my position is this: we might not, but I don't want to be in my world.
Yeah.
And like this is, and I completely hear people who are like, we've got Havertz, we've got Miles, we've got Norgard, we could recall Fabio Vieira, we've even got Max Staumann, right? Like we've got so many players that could, slot in these positions, Rice and Zubimendi, Odegaard, etc. Like we have got enough players in that sense. But Mourinho's played 2,000 minutes so far this season. He's had some unbelievable performances, by the way, like the Bayern Munich game. Go back to that game, like the tactical tool he is for us. I don't think he's easily replaced in the squad. Yes, Havertz has just come back in. if you were pushing me to get off the fence, which is what a lot of people do consistently, I would have gone for a 6-8 today. Not because I think it's a disaster, but because I just don't want to leave any stones unturned. That is it. Maybe it should have been John Stones.
Yeah, actually, yeah, fair play. Yeah, this is really interesting. By the way, a lot of people are telling me that James Wilson, who we were going to talk about, has gone to Spurs.
Yeah.
So we've quickly changed the title. So everyone hit the refresh. The title's been updated. Sorry, how did that happen? Like, okay,
I suspect he thinks it's going to be easier to break through. Just that's my
sure, we'll run with that.
quick analysis. We'll roll with that.
I heard he was going to be on trial. That was about kind of the only thing. I thought, oh, 18-year-old turns 19 in a month. All right, we might be looking to sign this guy. He's gone to Spurs. There's a reason I didn't do a video on it on Goonerverse News, because I thought to myself, let's just see, because I don't know anything about the player, this deal, why we might be doing it. Is it a first teamer?
That's not how the internet works, though, James. You got to understand. You have to know everything about a player at the moment that links drop.
I did, and that's why tomorrow, although Max, we should cancel it, the why James Wilson will lead us to the title video. Probably not.
Do you remember James Wilson at United? That kid who had like 3 games, and everyone thought he was going to be the next. Yeah,
I typed James Wilson into Google, and that's what popped up. Oh, by the way, we are going to talk about this as well, Oxlade-Chamberlain. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, so on Tonali, right? Yeah, I'm with you. So there's a few ways to look at this. Firstly, the stance of, did Arsenal need a player? Look, Alex, I'm going to say this, yeah. More often than not, in football conversation, we can all have an opinion and we can all agree and disagree. I'm going to say that you gave one of those rare opinions just then that I don't think anybody can disagree with, because Mikel Arteta himself came out and said, we are trying. We are trying. And if we see something, we will do it. So Mourinho gets injured. Waneri goes out on loan. So you're already kind of light in 2 players. Like, that's 2 players that have been a part of the first team squad last season and this season. We're light of them going into crunch time in all 4 competitions. It's not like previous years when we were out the FA Cup by now, out the Carabao Cup by now. We're in strong positions for all 4. So I think it's an almost non-negotiable that Arsenal needed a player or should do the player if they could. But am I going to kind of throw my toys out the pram, nor are you, about the fact that Arsenal haven't seemingly got something done? Then no. Why are people saying Fabrizio Bomba?
Oh, good Lord. Oh, no. I mean, I was kind of hoping there would be some sort of Bomba while we were live.
Yeah, but can we not? Are you all winding me up?
What's happened?
Let's see. I think they're all winding me up. I think they must be winding me up.
I can't see anything on Fabrizio's page.
Arsenal agreed deal to sign England under 19 international Jaden Dixon on a 4-year deal.
Dixon.
Okay.
3.2 mil. Okay.
Okay. What does this mean?
What? As we scramble, he's a defender, and he plays for Stoke.
Okay.
I'm sure he's very good, but that is quite funny.
What do we know about him? How did Fabrizio Romano get 2 tweets out within a minute of each other? Sorry, carry on.
Someone else writes his tweets. He's played 2 times in the Championship. He joined Stoke from Spurs in the summer of 2023 and has been at Stoke since then. And he's a defender. I don't know where he plays. I don't know what he does.
No, I mean, huge congrats to him. But I mean, and great, cool. We all have a signing.
Can we use the word bomber for that? Is that? We're also desperate for a bomber. We'll take it. Jaden Dixon.
Literally, we're all there going, it's going off on transfer deadline day. He's right-footed. He's a centre back. He's 188 meters. So what's that in feet? So he's 6 something. That's got to be 6. He's 6'2". All right.
Okay.
And all right, great. Okay. Wow. People say not a bomber, just a poof. Okay. Hot butter is cooking. I think the cat went left field here. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, well, I was just going to come back on what you said. Like, you said the words non-negotiable, and like
that was a bit strong. I'll be honest.
I think that's a bit strong
No, no,
Because
yeah,
I think there's a way through this season. Of course, there's and if you ran a simulation, we'd be fine. Like, I don't know, 80 times, 90 times out of 100. I just don't want to be. We came into last summer. I remember just feeling like I don't want to be in any situation. I want to overcorrect the issues that we had. And
yeah,
we probably did last summer. Like we probably didn't need, if we'd got all our players back and hadn't had the same injuries, we didn't need 8 new signings, probably. But I
yeah,
just didn't want to be in the same situation again where we missed out. Just leave no stone unturned. And I think also all of the people say, well, you could play Miles midfield. Okay, but Miles hasn't played midfield. So that's something we want and we think, and he is a midfielder, and I hear that. You can play Norgard further forward. Fine. He's, if anything, played him further back. You can keep Havertz in the midfield. Okay, well, Havertz has just come in. So all of the sort of, Max Dowman, the guy's 16. Like all of the things are like, yes, but we haven't yet seen it, or there's question marks over it. So I just don't want there to be any question marks, or I want no reason for this to go wrong.
yeah.
And yeah, I think I worry. I don't know. I'm hopefully come the end of the season, we're not even talking about it. It's just not even a thing. But I just, yeah, it is a back of my mind worry, especially because if you said to me the one position this summer, even before the Marino thing, this winter, before the Marino thing, I would have said midfield. I would have said a rangy, leggy midfielder who can take up the crazy minutes, or take some of the crazy minutes off a Rice or a Zubimendi. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, and it looks like Arsenal did try to do that. So Alex Crook has revealed that TalkSport led to believe that Arsenal did ask the question of Bayern Ari Goretzka in the wake of Marino's injury, but not expecting anything to happen there. Premier League leaders are happy with the strength of their squad heading into the run-in. When I said non-negotiable, so what I meant was, I worded it terribly. What I meant was, it's completely the wrong words. I basically said, no one can argue with your stance that no one can say you're wrong for saying we wanted or probably needed a player.
Yeah.
Basically, like I don't. If Arteta's coming out that strongly and saying no, we're playing every 2 to 3 days, like we need players, and we will do something if we can, then I think that's pretty strong from him, and I think that says quite a lot. But if Arsenal can't do it, then I think we're okay. If you go for every position, we've got 2 goalkeepers, we got two of every position, right? With Lewis Skelly left back. In midfield alone, you can even still say technically Zubimendi, Norgard, Odegaard, Eze, Havertz and Rice, really, if you want to use Havertz in that way. Gyökeres, Jesus, Madueke, Saka, Dalman, Trossard, Martinelli. Like, that's still the deepest squad we've certainly had out of the 4 seasons going into this particular part of the campaign. And while I am with you on the concerns for sure, and I would like us to have added someone, I was even happy with a creative solution. Like, I was even happy with a young centre-back coming in so that Lewis Skelly could play more minutes in midfield. Weirdly, we might have just got that. So I don't know how good he
Might have done
actually
Jaden
is.
Dixon. Who knows?
It might be Jaden Dixon. I mean,
And White at 6. Who knows?
but isn't it funny because Valdepeñas, old Real Madrid, 19-year-old left-footed, 18-year-old from Stoke, respectfully, we don't get as excited about, do we? But I mean, why not? Maybe he's a good player that Arsenal feel can cover if absolute needs be.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I was laughing at the fact that we signed a defender from Stoke. I mean, it's just very it's just very Arteta, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
but
it doesn't
you're
help
right.
wins.
It could have the knock-on effect. Who knows? And I think what's exciting and nice about this squad is we do tend to find creative solutions, and that can come from within the squad. You know, maybe Norgard goes further forward and he's brilliant. Maybe Miles goes into midfield. Maybe, I don't know, Saka becomes more of a midfield. Who knows? Who knows? Like, no one saw Marino coming. No one saw Havertz becoming, all those sorts of things, right? So we don't know what this can bring. I just didn't want to leave any stone unturned. And I just feel like we've left like one of the stones unturned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. What about Tonali in more detail, though? I just want to say something here. I saw something today that I don't really like, and I'll tell you why I don't like it. When Florian Plettenberg, who is employed by Sky Sports Germany, may I say, like there's no joke institution. I appreciate everyone with transfer news can be a bit unreliable. Some people can jump the gun, yeah. But he came out and he was the first to say exclusive, like Arsenal have looked at the potential of signing Tonali. Now, maybe it wasn't like 100% accurate. We now know via David Ornstein that it was the agent who approached Arsenal and Berta considered it. But what annoys me is I saw a lot of like, he's bottom of the barrel tier, useless journalist, always links us with rubbish players, never gets anything right. I have it as well when I say, Alex Crook's quite a good journalist, and people go, nah, he always gets things wrong. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's true. I think he's been pretty accurate with us. I get really annoyed when, people go, they just want clicks. They just want the journalists. Yeah, okay, to a degree, yes. Journalists as well need some interaction and all that, and want people to engage with their story. But their credibility is in the bin if they get things wrong. Things are double, triple, quadruple sourced and more. Like, they've said it because someone they trust has basically come to them with that news. Now, I'm not saying that, there isn't nonsense online. Of course there is, to a degree. But sometimes there's also no smoke without fire. And I didn't like the way basically he got dragged a little bit, by sort of Arsenal fans going, what absolute load of nonsense. Only for then the minute David Ornstein comes out and goes, well, no, actually, there was a conversation. The agent did offer him. I don't know. I feel, having studied journalism, I'm like, not that I know how difficult it is, but people work bloody hard to get far in this industry. It is so difficult to break through, like so difficult to get through in journalism. And I just, I'm not saying he's the most reliable, he's the best, but I'm actually quite glad that we got some verification and truth around that Tonali thing, and that it wasn't just some out of nothing story, essentially.
Yeah, I think you can. There's a whole analysis on the football space is like a big status game, right? And David Ornstein's the king, and everyone else is the peasants around him. And so that's the situation we're in. And I think I always try and separate out like banter and analysis, and it's very hard to do that. And actually, because you can come on a video, and this is the problem with modern media, is everything's so blurry, and who the clean triangle that was newspapers and journalists and up here is just morphed, and it's podcasters, and who knows who's reliable. So yeah, it's a really strange space. And for me, the analysis, but you can do the banter bit and that's fun, and oh my god, you idiot, you lost it. The analysis bit is he probably has got some stuff right and some stuff wrong over the years, and that's most journalists, I would argue, apart from David Ornstein, who probably in his early days did anyway, and he's just the king at the minute. But I think the joy in it and the ha is the status game that people love playing.
100%. So I agree. So big up Florian Plettenberg, who, listen, there was something in it, and he got there before everyone else. Tonali in the summer, would you like us to look at that deal? I think with Norgard aging, and basically maybe not being quite what we need him to be. That was a bit harsh to say aging, but you know what I mean. He's not 28, is he? With Marino,
imagine being in the 30s. Imagine it.
Yeah, I know. With I know, I insulted myself. With Marino being anything but an 8, he's a 10, a 9, a 6, and a centre back at Dortmund. But as a box 8, he's just not. Yeah, I don't know. Tonali clearly not happy. What's his agent doing, going around offering him around on deadline day? What a weird one. I don't know. Would you explore it in the summer?
For sure. I think he's I really like him. I think he's the sort of midfielder that suits the Premier League right now in terms of he's obviously got the engine to deal with it. I like his passing range. He's, for me, I think one of the things that I look at the minute in this team is who's willing to punch balls through lines. And often what happens is we sign a player and then they're doing that in the comps, and then they stop doing it when they get to Arsenal. So there's a question mark whether it's a scouting thing. But Tonali does have that bravery and personality on the ball that I am looking for at Arsenal behind the ball, which I think we're lacking a little bit, personality behind the ball. I think he's got the cojones to play for Arsenal. I think he's got I think he's got a lot that I like. My question might be the price. I don't know his where are we with Tonali? What's his contract situation?
2029, I think.
2029, yeah. So, and Newcastle are famously quite difficult with that. But 2028, I think it says on Transfermarkt. So 2 years to go. So maybe they're more interested in a deal if he's not going to sign a deal. I don't know. For me, mate, certainly the midfield area needs addressing and exploring. I try and look at the skills that I feel are missing. I still feel we lack a if we're not, and again it depends, because if we're going to play Ethan, I don't think we do lack a pocket player. But if Ethan's going to be out on loan, or who knows? I think there's a quote today him saying something like, "I might not." Not I might not be here, but let's see what happens in the future. I'm sure he's thinking about, am I going to get into this Arsenal team? Depends what happens with Odegaard, etc. But I do think we lack a pocket player. As I say, I think we lack a bit of personality behind the ball. For me, we lack rangy runners, guys who can cover big spaces, other than Declan Rice, and that's what. And Tonali isn't quite that for me. He's a really robust player. He's good on the ball, but he doesn't. It's not Declan Rice level recovery sprints, and I worry if we, because of that, it's kind of Rice related, because Rice is the one player that I look at and I go, I don't know how we do that. If Rice is out for a period of time, or we want to just give him a rest, literally just allow him to sit back a little bit. I don't know who that is, and I'm not sure that's Tonali. But equally, if that's Tonali combined with another signing, I don't mind it.
I totally agree with you, mate, on everything you said on Tonali. Let's see how that plans out in the summer. But I feel like this one might die away, and he'll sign for like Man United or someone,
Possibly.
or Man City, or Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like they need a six. Like I'm not sure he'll end up at Arsenal, but I like the player, and he's Italian, so I have to like him. Okay, so let's move on to what this show's actually all about, which is this. Our results. How does it look like? Oh, that doesn't work quite as well. Okay, we're learning, people. We've managed to get rid of Alex.
Right.
Okay, this is going really well. This. Okay, sorry. We're learning. We're learning. Thank you for being patient. Like everyone can see it there. It's our results from January. We're going to look at how January went in general. Then we're going to preview February. So on paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins in 9 games. One, Liverpool, Forest, United stand out as bad days. In the Premier League games, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we won 2 of them. But we're 6 points clear. And we'll talk about City. Like, let's really I actually want to talk about City and Rodri's bitching as well, which is hilarious, in a second. Like, we'll park that off for a sec. It's not been a perfect month, but mate, I can't be too mad at the team for this, like, at all. Like, what do you think? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's always expectation versus reality, and if your expectation is perfection, then fair enough. You'll think that was a bit of a patchy month, and it was in some senses. Certainly from a performance perspective, I'll have a lot to look at. But in terms of results, I keep coming back to this phrase: we are the least not perfect, least imperfect team in the league.
Yeah,
and I think that's who we are at the minute. I think this sort of run of results 10 years ago in the Premier League, or 10 years ago, you're looking at that going, well, you're never going to win anything. But if you look at how other top teams are performing, I would love to know the numbers on wins, consecutive wins in the Premier League compared to last season, all those sorts of things, because no one can pick up any consistency. The narrative is shifting constantly about this team are back and then they're going to fall away. United, I guarantee you, if you're watching this in a month, I don't know why you would be, but if you're watching this in a month, there'll be a completely new narrative about United, about a couple of draws and a couple of losses, and everyone will be going, oh, maybe he's not the right man. Then it feels like, to me, that washing machine happens normally in football, but it's happening. It's the spin cycle is like times 10. Not only from the sort of the media perspective, but just from the amount of results. People can't pick up wins. People are getting injured more. There's so much less continuity. So I don't know how you assess a month. It's like it almost feels like you have to just go game by game and go, do we feel we get enough out of that? But so yeah, you can look at a month and go, well, that's not great in the Premier League, etc. But no one else is getting consistent. No one else is performing, and that's the key part. I remember Arteta last season talking about winning titles and stuff, being about timing, and he got clowned for it at the time, but he's bang on. If it's all about what your opposition are doing, that is literally what football is about. If your opposition, if you win 37 league games, hang on, 36 league games and draw the last two to the others who win 38, it doesn't matter. You win 36 Premier League games. If the other guys win 38, it doesn't matter. So it's all about timing. And I feel we are the least, it's not great. It's a little bit patchy, but I still feel we're the least imperfect team. And I think January
Yeah,
is one of those sort of archetypal months.
I totally agree with that, and I think that will lead nicely onto the City conversation. But before we do, I look at this month as a month that was going to be very testing for Arsenal. We played in 4 different competitions, away in 4. One, two, three, 4. This cluster of 4 here, all in different competitions with very different tests. You've got to rotate at Bournemouth, but you still got to go through because you can't go out to Bournemouth in the third round of the FA Cup. But Forest, Sean Dyche give you a different test. Chelsea will really come and play. Inter Milan had a real pressure to win that game because of their situation in Europe. But we're also kind of expected to rotate in this because we're in a good position. So there was kind of a weird pressure on Arsenal to
And that's
manage these games
unprecedented.
well.
Sorry to cut you. That's unprecedented. It's never
Yeah, it
happened
is.
before that a team plays 4 away games in a row in 4 different competitions. That has never happened. So I actually
Yeah.
think we handled it quite well.
I think we did largely handle it well. To come out of this run of games, because we went into Bournemouth, if I'm not mistaken, we went in 4 clear, didn't we? So we went into the month, I think, 4 clear of City.
Something like that. And we're 6 clear now.
So I remember we beat Villa, and then they followed that up with a draw to Sunderland. That opened the gap up to 4. And then in that time, it became 7, then it became 4 again, or maybe it became 6, then it became 7, then it became 4 again, whatever. And anyway, to come out of this run, still in every competition, leading in the semi-final of the Carabao, and 6 points clear. I think for a body of work, and we'll go into the things that I wasn't best pleased with, but for a body of work, I think that's really, really good.
It is. It is. And I know people will point to certain results and go, this, that, and the other. But again, back to my point about the context. Show me okay, fine, you could slam Arsenal. Show me a team who's doing it better than. There isn't. Everyone in the Premier League is having these issues. Man City, Liverpool, Villa, etc. I think we're the best of a maybe you could argue it's a bad bunch, but I would argue best of a competitive bunch. The Forest game as well, mate. We could have come out of that game of 4 games, right, of the away, and again, unprecedented, literally never happened before. Sells makes that save from Saka. Is it a header from Saka?
Yeah.
We could have won that 1-0, and it was an I don't know if my grandmother had wheels and all that, but we all know we were way closer to winning that game than they were. So it was just one of those days, right? And we could have come out of that with that in that situation. Also, the United game, and again, not to play this game because I know no one wants to hear it, and no one wants to. We don't want to go back to 22-23 and go if buts and maybes, and I get that. But the United game, for example, it's 2 unbelievable goals from Dorgu and Cunha, and that happens. And I'm not making excuses for us, but even in the losses or the drop points this season, I feel as though we've been the better side as well. So, have we had issues? For sure. Like our performance from an attacking perspective has been really concerning at times, but there are positives.
Thank you for the super chats, people. We will get to them soon. Apologies. Obviously, it's just quite a lot of news to rattle through, but we will. And thank you so much for
James hates you. That's why he's doing it.
I hate all super chatters, apparently. So thank you. No, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, I think you're right on everything you said. For the sake of, look, it has been a month, though, that has wound me up a little bit. And my take on it, we actually haven't spoken about this, Alex, to be fair, not in person when we've hung out and not actually in any piece of content. I felt this game, Liverpool, this game, Forest, and this game, Man United. And I really wish I had the time because it's been the busiest month ever. And maybe I'll still go back and look at it. I can't help but feel that there was extra touches on the ball, a nervousness in our passing, that there was a lack of concentration defensively, but not a lack of concentration, more like a fear to get things wrong, which, if anything, led to more mistakes. Essentially, I'm teeing up this line. I think we looked nervous against Liverpool, Forest, and United. And I know generally that's kind of put down as very lazy analysis, and I think it probably is 90% of the time around Arsenal. But it was the first time where I looked at those games and I thought, you actually look like you're feeling the pressure, and it's way too early for that. And what I loved about the Leeds game was I felt totally relaxed watching it, and I felt that the players were completely relaxed. We weren't cutting through the lines, playing tick-a-tack, scintillating football. It wasn't like everything clicked, suddenly we were amazing. I just felt like we got the basics right, and we just did some really good stuff on the ball. And we were just physical. We won our duels. We were tidy. And we got the 3 points because we were just very sensible. I wanted your take on the whole nervy thing. Did you think there was anything in terms of potential nerves from Arsenal in those games, or am I being too harsh on the team?
I think maybe a year or two ago, I would have said to you, we can't know, right? Like we can't, who
Mm.
knows? And, you know, I'd prefer not to use that type of analysis. And I don't know. I think the older I get, the more I just think they are humans after all, you know, and we can
Yeah,
try and you view it through a screen, and that the screen, us all viewing it through a screen does change it. You know, it really does change it, and we maybe over and under index certain things. I think the way to know, mate, is Arteta's comments. He's the guy in the dressing room with them. He's the guy saying certain things. Well, actually, sorry, two things. One, yeah, his comments in terms of post United when he said he had the reset, and he was talking more about enjoyment. He was talking more about courage. He was, you know, it sounded like he was saying in Arteta's way. He would never have said it before the United game. We were nervous, all posting it, but he was basically saying we've had a bit of a reset,
yeah,
and we've reminded ourselves that this is a beautiful opportunity. It's one of the Arteta is. I saw this the other day. It was like, we're so lucky Arteta chose football, because he'd be, if he was a dangerous politician, he'd be excellent. The reframing he does on sort of, you know, nerves, etc. And he's like, you know, it's a beautiful opportunity and those sorts of things. And he's saying that for a reason. So there's something there, but also the eye test, mate. After, I'm telling you, one of the most important moments of this run, I would say, and possibly maybe it comes to define the season. I hope it doesn't, but I don't think it will, but maybe it will. Was post that goal, the first goal against United. Watch how we played. We were playing within ourselves. We were playing a little bit of
yeah. I
risk averse
agree.
football. The guys who were really putting the foot on the pedal were players like Saliba, and you could maybe argue, okay, it's because we had the fullbacks pinned and the wing backs out wide, etc. No, I think there was only a couple of players who were really willing to put their foot on the gas and try and go and win that United game in the first half an hour. We score the goal, then everyone goes, right, here we go. And it's like we freed ourselves up, which tells you, A, we were nervous before, but B, we're trying to prove something. And you only try and prove something when you're nervous. So
Yeah.
I think that is a decent sign that this team has been, maybe as collectively, again, we can't know, but with the Arteta comments and with that, a sign that maybe we have been a bit nervous. And I buy that. Maybe I wouldn't have a couple of years ago, but I buy that. There's so much on the line, man. There's so much on the
Yeah,
line.
I completely agree, and I'm so glad that you have brought evidence to what I was just simply feeling. You're right. The Arteta quotes, the particular moments in which certain things happen in game, how we responded to goals. So yeah, I think you're spot on.
Also,
To round off,
finally, sorry, the technical level as well. I think it's really
thank you.
how can you
Yes.
how do you quantify nerves in a football match? Because it's the same, like, you know, when you lose a match and someone goes, the subs were wrong, and you're like,
Mm.
I can't really disagree with you. Like, I don't, you know, it's impossible. We lost, so, you know, it's
Yeah.
an impossible argument. So how do you quantify it? And I do think technical level is a decent way of saying it. When someone's technical level goes, and in that United game, everyone was giving balls away. So I think it's a
Yeah.
decent level of.
Totally agree. To end January on a real positive, though, I think it shows how far we've come that these two results here, Chelsea away, Inter away, just brushed it off as is what it is. These are huge. You know, going to the Bridge, scoring 3 goals and winning in a cup semi-final first leg, going to Inter
Yeah.
Milan, albeit there was nothing on the line for us, but there certainly was for them. And to walk it, I thought we were great in this game, shows how far we've come. And to lead all this, you know, culminating in a 4-0 win at Leeds, to take all this to for all this to take us to a 6-point lead, and yet we're sat here pretty satisfied, I think
Yeah.
just tells you how far we've come as a team, and fair
Yeah.
play to them.
I've made a bit of a vow to myself recently that I just want to try and enjoy the end of this year. I've spent the first half of this year panicking and, like, not, you know, and maybe fairly critiquing the team. I'm not saying I'm going to stop critiquing the team, but
Yeah.
like trying as much as I can to take a step back and enjoy it and not let the anxiety take over. Because otherwise it'll get to May and I'll look back and I'll go, oh, I've just spent the whole season worrying. And
Yeah.
I like, oh, if we win a title, I don't want that to be I don't want that to be the feeling of 25-26. That's been my defining feeling of 25-26, worry and angst. And we're winning away at the San Siro and I'm still going, oh, oh.
So
It's like,
true.
come on, dude.
It's so true. Yeah, 3-0 upper Leeds, and I'm there going, if they nick a goal,
Yeah,
you know. I
literally.
mean, actually, to be fair, this one game I didn't feel that, but yeah, like I don't want to live like that. I agree. All right. Should we talk? Should we talk Feb? As we're doing this, I'm time coding it, hence I'm being a little bit clunky with my moving on of the topics. But you can see I've got them all up there on screen. February, a much more reasonable month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games of football. I imagine there might be a sixth if we go through into the FA Cup fifth round. I imagine there's another game maybe after Tottenham, or is that an international break? I don't know. That's quite a gap. But what are we expecting from this month? I'm going to kick us off with this cannot be Olympiacos 2.0. This cannot be like just moments we've had Villarreal, like, two-legged just fuck ups at the Emirates, and we've put ourselves in a good position. We cannot do that again, man. We have to get before a ball was kicked, even at Stamford Bridge. I'd have said, yeah, of course I expect to go through, but like I wouldn't be. If we lose, I'd be annoyed. I'd be disappointed. I wouldn't be like gutted. But now I'm in the realm of no, I'd be gutted if we got knocked out by Chelsea from the position we're in and the chance of silver, which I really think we're good enough for. The way Newcastle and City have looked this season. Do you place that much importance on it, or are you just like, look, we're in a good position. Let's see what happens, but there's other things as well going on.
I think the firstly the Carabao Cup is incredibly important. I do.
Thank
I
you.
think it will help to settle these nerves. But also, James, I didn't think that at the beginning of the season. I have to say, I was not. I was sat there at the beginning of the season, and people can go back and I don't mind. I was wrong. I was going, look, 6 games in the middle of the season when we got bigger fish to fry, etc., etc. But I'm also of the opinion with the Carabao Cup, if you get to a semi-final, you have to go and win it, because it's one of those things. It's like it's worse. You can't you either completely throw it or win it. You can't have this middle ground that we had last season, which I think didn't help our year. So I think it'd be really important for the players. I think it settles the anxiety for a lot of the fans. It gets that, there is something psychologically to just winning, just knowing you can get over the lines, and what it is like 70 minutes. Let's say you're looking for a goal in a title deciding game. It's like, no, we've already won something, and you can just relax a little bit, and it allows you. So for me, it's really important. But also, mate, I don't know if you saw, and I can try and link it for you. There was something from The Athletic earlier, basically saying how teams do in first. Basically, if the league ended after the first half, what would the league look like? And Man City were like 10 points ahead of us. I'll see if I can find it.
Wow.
I do think we are a team that at the minute, a little bit, it's nicer for us to not have to be not necessarily be on the front foot. What am I trying to say? It's like, if we don't have to go and impose our game, our attacking game on other people, I feel more comfortable. I feel when we have to go, this is who we are, this is our attacking game, we take a long time to grow into games. It requires a set piece to open a game up for us, which, by the way, is not necessarily bad, but we don't always have that thing at the minute that we had, let's say, 22-23, which I think is people are pointing to, of like going out and just smashing a team, right? Yeah. Imposing our game, sort of forgetting about what's going on behind us. We're not that good at that. So the fact that Chelsea have the impetus on them, I think it suits us. That's my feeling about this team. I think in first halves at 0-0 game states, I don't feel like we impose our game. Once we're up, I feel we'll win. Once we've been pegged back, I feel we'll win. Does that make sense? But I think at 0-0 in those sorts of game states, I worry we don't always impose ourselves. And maybe the data doesn't back that up, but that's one thing that we try and find it. It's one thing that does.
That's fair. I think coming into this game with the lead is important. Chelsea will take the game to us. I just wonder whether we'll sink in our shell, or whether we'll go, yeah, no, like actually we'll try hit them on the counter. I still don't think we're great in transition, but maybe it makes it a more open game for us. My prediction for how the game will go, I mean, we're sort of previewing now the Carabao Cup sort of by accident, so we may as well include it. I think we'll actually try and be the aggressors for a lot of the first half. Like I think we'll basically say we're at the Emirates, treat it like it's 0-0, be on the front foot, semi-final, let's go. And I think, we might play well and it be 0-0 at halftime. We might even nick a goal, but I don't think we'll do anything significant enough in the first half. We won't do anything significant enough to affect the scoreline in the first half for it not to be a second half in which Chelsea go for broke and go, well, this is it. We've got 45 minutes to rescue our place in this competition. And I think it's going to be a pretty ugly second half, just trying to get it over the line, whether it's 0-0 and we're holding on to our lead, or whether it's you know, like a 1-0 lead and they're trying to nick one back and they do, and then suddenly it gets a bit nervy. I don't see tomorrow night being easy. I'd love for Arteta and Arsenal to just flex and just say, look, we're, you know, you're 6 games, Rosinia, into this, and we're 6 years, and that's going to tell. But I just don't think it's going to go like that, because Chelsea have good players, and when they do click, they can be good in big games. So my prediction is actually a 1-1 for this game. I think we'll go through, but I'm not expecting a nice night at the Emirates at all. What about you?
I don't know. I again, because they have the impetus on them, I think this could end up being maybe a bit of a shaky start, and they don't have Estevao as well. I don't think. Who was their biggest threat in the first leg. I think we'll be okay. I think it'll probably be a 1-0 again or something like that. Like I don't think we're going to impose. As I said, I don't think we're very good at imposing our game. If we were going to Stamford Bridge needing a goal, I'd be worried. But they're coming to us and they need a goal, so I think we'll be all right. But that's my feeling.
Fair. Just some news from Gunner blog. 5 minutes ago. Arsenal are in advanced talks to sign teenage forward Evan Mooney from Scottish side St Mirren. Do we have like a huge team of scouts out in Scotland at the moment?
Well, we actually, I mean, there's the whole, I can't remember the guy's name. Phil Cohen, is it? Or there's someone who we're setting up all these academies in Ireland and Scotland.
So we actually do. So basically, my facetious, lazy ass question actually has
no, you're right. You're literally right.
Oh, thanks for that, mate. So deal being discussed, 400k. Okay, Evan Mooney. Let's have a quick glance before we talk about the rest of February.
Evan Mooney Penny. People are saying the chat.
He just turned 18. He's a very young player. So there we go.
Mattinson, okay. Search Mooney. There's no Ben Mattinson tweet. He's rubbish.
Oh my word. Okay. I mean, this is the thing about deadline days. You just get caught up. Now people are saying Gunner blog bomber. I'm not sure.
Yeah, can we
love, and thanks for the heads up. I'm not sure it's a bomber, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's
I'd chill on the word bomber.
I just see things like this, Romano, and I go,
yeah.
What is it? And by the way, shout out Matisse.
Matisse, my guy. My guy.
He's doing. Let's keep Matisse on screen just while we look at Fabrizio Romano. See if he did really say anything. No, he did not. Right. So there we go. 35 minutes without tweeting on deadline day, Romano. Do your job.
Do your job.
Oh, Mamadou Sarr has returned to Chelsea. Oh my word! He actually has been tweeting non-stop. I was wrong. So there we go. Right,
I saw him say on an interview once that he does all of his tweets. I was like, no, you don't.
He can't.
No, you don't.
That is
just
impossible.
A lie. Simply a lie.
That must be. That's impossible. Anyway, cool. All right. Well, young striker. So there we go. The tears we had for the James Wilson transfer collapsing have been very quickly wiped away with the brilliant news that Evan Mooney is coming in. So sorry. And by the way, I'm actually not like huge congrats to, even if it's Tottenham, Wilson on a big move, Evan Mooney coming to Arsenal, as looks like Jaden Dixon. Fair play. This is huge for them. I'm very happy for them. Just it's obviously not the type of transfer stuff we thought we were going to be talking about. So anything to look at Turkish in the comments as well. Well, why are Matisse and Turkish beefing in the Goonerverse live chat?
What about? Wait, what about?
Chelsea Arsenal tomorrow night.
Of course.
You lot. I'll ask you this quickly, just because we have deviated the transfer stuff quick. Apparently, Oxlade-Chamberlain's in a trialist kit, and he's been there for a little while. I don't know, like, how old is he? Is that
32?
Possible?
I believe. James, Oxlade-Chamberlain just off the pitch as a guy. I absolutely love him, and I think
he's 32. Do it.
It would heal a part of me that was hurt back in 2017 or 18. Is it the right? If that happened though, there is no chance on earth that should happen. It would make sort of 18-year-old me quite happy, but yeah, I can't see that happening.
I think, I mean, all jokes aside, and whether he's 32, 20, 32 is not too old to still be a good Premier League footballer. I think the issue is he's had so many injuries over his career, and he was just always known for his power, wasn't he? He was a
Yeah.
powerful, quick player. And it was interesting. I always saw him as a winger, but he went to Liverpool and thrived in midfield and had little runs under Jurgen Klopp in central midfield. But I mean, I can't imagine he's still got that kind of pace and power. But he'd be weirdly suited to the modern day Premier League. I just, keep training and carry on. But
I
yeah,
don't know, the level. Like if you look at the sprinting numbers, even compared to when he was in the Premier League, it's gone up another level. So
yeah, no fair. So I think we all agree then probably not one to do in the final 10 minutes of the window. But
would be funny though. It would be very Arsene Wenger era.
Apparently Arteta's not ruled it out. Apparently he's like,
Where?
I don't know.
Seriously?
I saw a tweet, but I think everyone just talks. I don't know. Anyway, might be true, might be not. All right, we've covered the Ox. Back to February quick. So here we go. Any games here you're worried about? Like naturally, just every Premier League game, I just shit myself because it's like it's the Premier League. We can't possibly lose. But I mean, Sunderland at home, Brentford away, Tottenham away. Look, tricky. Brentford very good in the big games, especially. Is it called the G-Tech Community Stadium? I believe it is.
Yeah,
Obviously, Tottenham just showed some heart. I don't know. What do you think of those games? Sunderland, you can't rule out. They've been good in big games.
That's all you can say for Tottenham. They just showed a bit of character in the second half once.
They might have won us the league. They might have won us the league.
20 games before
for 90 minutes.
I think, not to speak too soon, I do think Sunderland feels winnable, especially with no Xhaka. They've got a number of players out. And at home, I feel relatively comfortable at that game. The Brentford game, especially because it's a night game on a Thursday, just gives me the bad vibes. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Wigan should be winnable. I say that, and this is all going to come back to bite me. Yeah. I would love to, I think that Spurs game to me feels it's kind of pivotal anyway, generally, because it's Spurs and it's away at Spurs. But I think that could be. I still feel. And maybe we won't get it, but I still feel we're waiting for that lift-off moment this season a little bit. And the 4-1 against Spurs was a big moment, but I think because of I feel like sometimes with a lift-off moment, you need a big win against a big team, and then you need to go on a little streak, and that feels like but we didn't do that. I can't remember exactly what happened after that.
We drew to Chelsea the week after that, and then we lost to Villa, and
yeah. So it kind of immediately dipped off. I would love to feel going into that international break, we win that game and we move forward. Although I do have a question mark about this scheduling, because I think with the Champions League, etc., I don't know whether this is all going to play out in this way. But if it is going to play out in this way, that win before the international break, you can take stock. And Arteta speaks about it. It's funny because sometimes, when it benefits him, he'll say we go game by game. But often in retrospect, he'll say the Christmas period or this block of games. He'll sort of talk I think he does internally speak in those terms, but won't say that necessarily publicly until it's in retrospect. I suspect he's targeting that as like this little block here before you have a reset in the international break. And I think that could be huge, the Spurs game.
Is 7 points out of 9 a bad return from this?
Do you know what, James? I think a year, I don't know when, but I think there would have been a time where you go, no, you got to win all those games, you want to win the title. I don't think you do. I'm sorry. And I know people will say, oh, it's a loser. Okay, well, then show me the team that is picking up all the points consistently this season. There isn't one. There literally isn't one. It's the battle of the least imperfect this season. So I think 7 out of 9, if you offered it to me right now, because I believe City will pick up maximum 7 out of 9, because I believe Villa will pick up maximum 6 out of 9, I'd probably take it.
I think obviously this Sunderland game's huge because it's before City go to Liverpool. If I'm told right now, Liverpool are going to get something from City, if I'm told that right now, and I believe they will, to be honest, but it wouldn't also surprise me if Liverpool just did some of the nonsense they've done most of this campaign, right? Like they did lose at home to PSV, to Forest, drew at home to Burnley only a week or two ago. If they kind of revert to some of the nonsense, a team with Foden, Shirky, Haaland, Semenyo, Doku, yeah, I think they could absolutely, Bernardo Silva, I think they could absolutely win at Anfield City. I think it's very possible. And then maybe they have their lift-off moment, and then that could be a touch scary for us. But
this
I
is
think
the thing.
7 out of 9.
I don't think that. Sorry to cut you. I don't think there is going to be that lift-off moment for any team this season. So someone in the chat earlier said Villa, and Villa's maybe the one exception because they did have 8 games. I think they had a lift-off moment, but you watch what happened. They crashed. Like,
Yeah.
and the point of a lift-off moment is the moment to lift you to become a title contender. And I never felt that Villa were seriously in that contention. I just felt they were in really good form and that they were riding their luck a little bit, and that's been proved. But over the last couple of seasons, Liverpool and City and us have had that moment where you go, right, post Dubai, or Liverpool winning that game at the Etihad in, I think it was October or November last season. It's like, okay, here we go. I don't know if that happens for anyone this year, because I just don't think it's that sort of league.
With all the respect in the world to Villa, because I think they're doing a great job and Emery's doing a great job, and they're having to sell because of PSR and all that. And well, I remember reading, it's like 11 wins in a row. That's unbelievable. And then I realized it included the Europa League games as well. I remember
include the Europa
like,
League, and I think the Carabao, and also like if you went through them, I remember someone broke them down and they went through them, and I was like, okay, it was like a last. I'm not discrediting them, of course, but it was like last minute winner, beating Bodo Glimt. Like it was that. You're like, okay,
yeah. And okay. I was a bit like, oh, this doesn't. It's not. It's impressive. It's very good. They just won at Newcastle. Fair play. It just didn't read quite as impressive as, you know, it sounds. 11 wins in a row. I was like, oh, they're coming to Arsenal on 11 wins in a row. Like, this could be, you know, and actually when you dive a little bit deeper, it wasn't quite like that. So I get you. I think City will drop points at Liverpool. Therefore, I think 7 out of 9 is enough out of these. I'm not saying I'd take it now. I'm not saying I would want that. I'm not saying if I could hit a red button and claim that now that I'd take it. I would play the games out because I think we're good enough for 9 out of 9. I think we could be quite average and still get 7 out of 9. I think we could be cause problems by these teams. But yeah, interesting to sort of work that out. I mean, basically City, as we said, they go to Liverpool. And that's probably a good chance to move on to them as I time code this, because for people who are watching this later, you want to be able to tune in, find out what we're chatting about. We've talked to Carabao Cup, we've talked Oxlade-Chamberlain, we've looked at the months. I think, yeah, we'll just go into the chat about City, really. Like, you like to look at the game analytically. We've got, oh my word, it's 3 minutes to 7. Sorry, I realised you had to go. Quickly then.
I've got time.
Okay. What's wrong? What's wrong with City? What do you think is the problem they're having right now?
Literally tactically, I think it's runners from midfield. They are really struggling with that. They can't. Whenever I see them concede, it's the off ball movements. Whenever I watch them, and they can't. It's not necessarily they can't track them. I don't know if they're getting too. Because Liverpool have this problem as well. They're getting disconnected too easily, and it's something that we're really good at. We stay connected really well. So I think those off ball movements are disconnecting them. I don't know about the balance. Like, I love watching Shirky and I love watching Foden and all those sorts of players, but the balance of runners and carriers and physicality in the midfield, etc. I don't know right now what I think about that. I'm not sure on paper. I look at it and I don't love it. I also think they're knackered, and I also think they, because of the the Club World Cup, etc., and how much football they played. They're, in my opinion, there is a level of they've won 4 in a row, and they're pretty happy to just not walk off into the sunset. But for players like Rodri or players like Haaland, etc., when you've won trebles and all those sorts of things, it does take a little bit off you. And I don't think that should be discounted a little bit. I think for me, mate, the reason I don't like, I go through their results, right? Let's go from October. Loss, win, 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 win. They had this decent run in November. Loss, win, win, loss, win, 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 loss, draw, 10-1 against Exeter, 2-0 against Newcastle, loss against Man United, loss against Bodo Glimt, 2-0 against Wolves, 2-0 against Galatasaray, drew against Spurs. That City machine where it's just win, 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 win doesn't happen. And I think actually that, and then we're going to speak about the Rodri interview, that that kind of that hasn't. I haven't felt that from City before. I haven't felt that from Rodri. I haven't felt that from Haaland. That sort of it's not working for us. That type of feeling.
Yeah.
It's very much felt for them like sort of it's going to happen for us. We have that confidence, and I didn't see that in him yesterday. I think that's a big part of it.
Agree with all that. I think also, you know, I put up a comment which, you know, was sort of jokingly true. You know, basically they don't have a De Bruyne regen. That's the problem. But I think in general, essentially, God, man, I really hope I don't regret saying this. I just think they're a bit of an imitation of a better Pep and City side. Like, I just think, yeah, they're good players. Shirky looks brilliant, but he's not Kevin De Bruyne. And that's the difficult thing is Kevin De Bruyne I have as one of the Premier League, if not, actually for me, he's the best midfielder I've ever seen in the Premier League. How do you replace that? You can't. You're asking generational talent to come into the club. So as good as Shirky is, De Bruyne is just another level. So Haaland then has a dip. Okay, that can happen. Bernardo is a good player. He's not Bernardo Silva a few years ago. Rodri is a brilliant player. He's not the Rodri pre-ACL because I don't think he's quite got up to speed off the ball, though on the ball he still looks terrific. Reinders isn't Gundogan. Semenyo and Doku aren't Mahrez, Sterling, Sane, Bernardo when he was wide, Foden when he was wide, all that. The fullbacks, O'Reilly isn't Ake, Nunez isn't Walker. And, you know, Kuzanov is a good player. He's really quick. He's not...
Kuzanov is good, to be fair.
Yeah, but he's not prime John Stones, and who didn't have maybe his pace, but had everything else. Like, they're just not as good. The players just aren't as good. And I think what Arteta did really well, I think he built a system and a squad that almost, and this has been happening for years, almost acknowledged we don't have City's quality. We don't have Haaland, De Bruyne, Rodri, Gundogan. So it needs to be more of a collective effort. And so what you're seeing is the collective, whoever comes in and out, holding their own. Whereas Man City are still trying to play 2-10s away from home in the Premier League. You know, with a Rodri who hasn't got the legs right now, whether he kind of rediscovers that momentum, he doesn't have that right now. So City basically are trying to go, no, we can still do this. Like we can. Foden and Shirky in the pockets with pace out wide. No, what about off the ball structure? What about being compact? What about not having your fullbacks getting rinsed? What about Gehi and Kusanov not trying to just pull you through games, but actually being protected as well? Because as great as Saliba and Gabriel are, they're helped by the work of Rice and Zubimendi. So I just think they aren't as good, but they also have never adapted to the fact that they aren't as good. That doesn't mean they're not a very, very good side or a great side. I think they'll probably win some silverware this season, but that's not the metrics by which we judge Man City. We judge them on, are you going to win the league? Because you spent a load of money, you've got the best manager, you've got the best striker, you've got some of the best players. Are you going to win the league? And the fact that we're at a point this season where I don't agree with the media writing them off, but a lot of them are going, I just don't think City have it. You're like, man, that's actually a pretty poor reflection on Man City for the investment the last few years and the quality we do believe they have when it comes to Haaland, Guardiola, and all that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of that. And I think ultimately, for me, it comes back to something really basic, which is they don't have all the best players in the world at the minute. And Haaland is one of the best players in the world, and that's why he's succeeding. But then I look around and you see players who at least have question marks in that regard. And I have no question mark. Saliba is one of the best centre-backs in the world. I have no question mark that Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in the world. He proves it every single week. Or Gabriel or whoever. You know, we can look at our forward line, etc. And that is where our issues are. You know, we can spend all this time analysing and, you know, they're getting disconnected. Are they getting, you know, disheartened? Is it the balance of the midfield? Is it the runners and they have worse in the current vogue of football? They have less of the best players than they used to. That's probably why they're not as good. and I also think the squad that they built isn't quite right for this version of the Premier League, which again I think is a big point.
I totally agree. Love this super chat from Oogie Boogie. Great name. Okay. Everyone, you'll all know 1 to 11 on the Goonerverse. It's not on the Goonerverse. I wish it was on the different knock. The player ratings unique format that Alex has brought, and glad you guys are enjoying the tier list as well on this
ranking.
channel.
ranking things. It's very unique.
Yes, yeah, us ranking things. I know, very, very, very new of us. I haven't seen player ratings done like that before, so fair play to you. Farhan says we don't need to panic purchase. Let's wait till the summer. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think we've got enough options. Tanish says, if given the choice, would you use the 50 million option to buy Nkapie or spend that on Coyote or Arnel Martinez and use Weiss as more of a centre back? Now, I'm going to fly in really quick with my answer. I see a lot of this. Oh, it's an option. We don't have people. Nkapie will be here next year because A, he's not actually been as bad as I think a lot of people are saying, and B, the loan option was designed so that Leverkusen could activate it too. That's why we got that particular deal. He will be an Arsenal player. Leverkusen will want the money. There's no point entertaining this. I thank you for the super chat. But I think that's a key detail that's often missed. But is there anything there you agree with or disagree with, Alex, around Nkapie?
I still don't quite understand the trigger and exactly what the terms of it are. I'm trying because I'm looking at the original David Ornstein tweet right now, and it says a 5-year deal upon a permanent transfer, £52 million, and a 10% sell on for Bayer Leverkusen, and a buy option. I don't know. I haven't been as impressed with Nkapie as I wanted to be, but I also don't think he's been this terrible player who can't defend. I think he's coming into the best back line in the world, and expected to just be at that level from day one. And Gabriel wasn't at that level from day one. Saliba wasn't at that level from day one. Calafiori wasn't at that level from day one. So I don't know why we expect him to be there. What I will say is when Mikel Arteta, who has profiled all these players, or the recruitment team at Arsenal, let's say that, has signed a player for 52 million euros who's a defender, I go, let me sit this one out. How about that? Let me do that. Are there concerns? Do I have concerns? For example, Rohan on the Canon talks about like tracking blindside runs in the box, etc. I don't disagree with that. I think I can see that in his game. There's some stuff as a centre back I don't think he's particularly adventurous on the ball. I think maybe he's a little bit over aggressive occasionally. Yeah, he's 23.
Yeah, very true. Timber, I think, is the only fullback who's come in and basically hit the ground running, and even he got injured. So who knows how much instruction he took on in that time and everything, to kind of get ready for it. Ben White, there were questions with him at right back at first. Tomiyasu, I think maybe took a couple weeks, months, but then kind of really, I think, ended that season strong before he got injured, sadly. No, that was the season after, sorry. You know, Calafiori certainly was questioned. Lewis Skelly was young, learning a new position, so I'm not too worried about it. And then final one, thoughts on Ben White going to Everton this summer? Please don't. Is basically my thinking.
Is that a real rumor?
I hadn't seen it, if I'm honest.
I quite like this thing of Ben White potentially being the sort of the elder statesman-y type player in this team. If we're going to move on from a Marino or a Norgard, I quite like that. Okay, okay. There's a few links and stuff.
Okay. Well, hopefully he doesn't. I mean, I don't want him to, but yeah, I don't know. I just think he's I still think he offers things that I don't think like Timber does and other fullbacks. So I still want him to be available. All right, we're going to leave it there. I'm sorry for making you late. Apologies, Alex. Everyone go check out the Different Knock. As you know, go check out the Canon podcast and just keep... Oh, interesting. Sorry. Hand of Arsenal.
Not a true story of Everton.
Everyone go follow Hand of Arsenal. And everyone keep your eyes peeled for later this week. That's all I'll say. We are going to be here once a month doing this collab, looking back at the month we just had and looking ahead at what's to come. Hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, the deadline has shut. Arsenal have not signed anyone to come and have an impact in the first team.
Jaden Dixon and Mr. Mooney, whatever his name was.
Yeah, Mad Eye Moody coming to
Moody?
Oh yeah, I got the Harry Potter reference wrong.
Called him Mad Eye
all
Moody.
These years being called Harry Potter, and here we are. I barely wear the glasses now because of it. All right, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone in the comments. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Turkish and Matisse, for starting a war in the comments. So I look forward to tuning into the Big Six. We'll leave it there. Big thanks to everyone, and we'll catch you all very soon.